is energetic data from every year of your life, navigating existence right here, right now, beyond awareness. This is such a fascinating topic, and we're going to take a very specific example so that you can expand inner introspective awareness and explore the miraculous complexities of this with me, leading into some joyous miracles. Let's take an example of experiencing the changing of the seasons, the literal changing of the seasons. Okay? As we move from summer to autumn, there's a bunch of different stuff happening within nature that's affecting our experiences of reality in very subtle ways. Okay? Some places, right, it starts to get darker earlier. The sun used to set maybe at like 8 o'clock, but maybe now it sets at 5 o'clock is one potential example. It gets darker earlier and it's colder. The sun's still out. It's still sunshiny, maybe not. And the temperature is decreased, okay? It starts getting a little colder. The leaves start to maybe change color, okay? There's all these different little subtle things that happens when nature moves from summer into autumn. The body-mind has a responsibility to navigate those experiences beyond awareness. Okay, if you had never experienced the changing of the seasons before, you might look around and start to feel like it's the end of the world. Like, oh my God, like everything's suddenly getting colder and like the leaves are like changing colors and like falling off. Are all of the trees simultaneously dying? Like, what's going on? The only reason we understand the changing of the seasons and have a sense of familiarity with what's happening is because the body-mind is navigating it beyond awareness. And so there's this instinctive understanding of what's happening. There's this implicit revelation, this implicit knowing, this subtle energetic understanding of what's happening. You're not going around like, hey, like, are you experiencing the temperature getting a little colder and the leaves changing color and like it getting darker earlier? You're experiencing that too? Is it the end of the world? Because this is clearly some crazy stuff. Like, your body-mind is navigating that experience, and so you understand what's happening, why it's happening, and how to respond to what's happening. It's the changing of the seasons. It's something simple. It happens every year. But how do you know that it happens every year? Because you have data inside of your body-mind organized in relation to every year of life. And so once upon a time, the body-mind didn't know what the changing of the season was because it had never experienced it before. But the body-mind wasn't sculpted into its existence as an individuated being yet. And so it actually didn't even have a sense of self to understand what it was experiencing. And so you don't necessarily remember being a little child and being like, oh my God, what's going on when the changing of the seasons was happening? Because the body-mind was still being sculpted into existence. There wasn't an individuated sense of self to personally experience this thing with this level of awareness. Okay, and it was just something that was happening, and I was like, okay, and then that data came in, and the body-mind learned, oh, this is something that happens every year. But it wasn't something that was taught. You know, it's taught to some degree, but the body-mind didn't really learn it that way. It learned it through experience. It learned it by personally experiencing the shift from summer to autumn and what that means and what that looks like and what that feels like and what you do about it. You know, maybe you start to have warmer clothes or something, okay? So the body-mind learned these things from experience. Nobody went up and said, okay, it's time to teach the body-mind what it means to experience the changing of the seasons. Okay, that never happened. The conscious mind might have learned about the concepts of them, right? But the body-mind was never explicitly taught what the changing of the seasons are. The body-mind was never taught directly, intentionally, explicitly about the changing of the seasons. It learned it through experience. And the data from every year of life is now organized to navigate these realities beyond awareness. And so the ability to feel a sense of familiarity with something like this, okay, this can be applied to literally anything, the ability to feel familiar with any aspect of reality. But in this example, the ability to feel familiar with what it feels like to experience the changing of the seasons is coming from the navigational structures of the body-mind. And then there's consciousness, the actual essence of self, who is in the personal experience of it and within the experience of having awareness of the experience and the experiencer within it. Okay? So then there's the actual essence of consciousness. Okay? And so what happens if data from every year of life isn't fully connected? In this example, and again, this is just one of thousands and millions of possible examples, but just a simple, easy to understand one. If the data from every year of life isn't connected, then the data from those times that you experience the changing of the seasons from childhood, the data of the experiences from when it turned from summer to autumn during teenagehood, the data from those related experiences throughout adulthood up until now, okay? And maybe that's, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, 70 years, just depending on the age of the body mind now, because consciousness doesn't have an age, right? It's the age of the body mind. But if that data is not connected from each year of life, then the navigation of now isn't going to have all of the data it's meant to have. And there might just be data from a few years navigating the changing of the seasons, and then all this other data that doesn't have connection. More importantly, on a deeper level, there will be parts of the self from experiencing the shift from summer to autumn during childhood or teenagehood or other periods of adulthood, etc., whatever it might be, a time period of life. Aspects of self, not the experience and not the brain body wiring, but the essence of self. There might be these parts of the self who aren't fully oriented with the self experiencing that right here, right now. And that's what's more important than just the navigational structures. You can go through the changing of the seasons and still navigate it effectively, even if all the data is not connected. But what's more important is, are the parts of the self all connected in this new experience of something that has already been experienced? Okay? And so this is a fascinating topic that I love exploring. And so if you haven't checked out the full feature class about body-mind islands and understanding attachment development and how it influences these structures and how body-mind wiring throughout trillions of complex networks carrying content and connectivity throughout its navigational structures, especially unconscious memories beyond awareness, can be understood and explored through 5 elements: data from every year of life, explicit and implicit data, roles of the neurobiological social engagement system, which each have their own navigational priorities beyond awareness, self-associations and the ways that the body-mind associates with itself according to these navigational structures within it, and thus how the body-mind associates with all components of reality, remembering that the self-associations of the essence of self as consciousness, or the soul of the self, is always independent of the automated structures of the body-mind, but experiences the human life through them. Or abstract, and the 5th one is abstract associations of experiential elements. And so understanding the trillions of networks in the body-mind carrying navigational patterns throughout its content and connectivity, understanding it through these 5 elements, and how moments of unfulfilled attachment needs, or moments where attachment needs are very conditionally filled, or might be fulfilled from alternate sources in opposing or contradictory ways. Anything where attachment needs are not fully met through unconditional love, and these experiences of love that are the truth of the self as unconditional love, the truth of divine essence expressed in human form, okay, can disrupt the organization throughout these trillions of complex networks. And it can lead to body-mind islands. And these happen on a small scale throughout all of humanity, and it can happen on a bigger scale throughout millions of people who might have encountered more severe traumatic experiences. But everyone on planet Earth has at least like one region of the body-mind that isn't fully connected, because there's always at least one moment in life where you're not having this complete sense of attachment well-being, and then that data is navigating life beyond awareness. But a lot of times it's really subtle. Okay, the most intensive, severe, dramatic, pronounced presentation of it is especially found in unique orders, unique order of wiring within the neurobiological social engagement system that presents in prominent ways, which can be described as structural dissociation, complex post-traumatic stress disorder, dissociative disorders, personality disorders, etc. But I don't call them disorders. They're unique orders. It's just a unique order of wiring. There's nothing disordered about it. It's actually very profoundly organized, but in a disrupted way because of these chronic disrupted attachment needs not being fully met in some very traumatic ways, okay? But everyone in humanity, at some point, until they go and do their inner work play, has at least one body-mind island, if not dozens or hundreds and thousands of them. But it's beyond awareness, okay? And when you think about 1,000 body-mind islands, that might seem like a big number, but then you think that there's trillions of networks. 1,000 is a small number compared to a trillion. Okay, so basically that means that there's navigational structures where the content doesn't have the optimal information it needs to navigate existence to its fullest capacity and highest potential, and or reduce connectivity so that the data in these regions and the data in these regions aren't able to collaborate in their optimal capacity for thriving navigation beyond awareness and the fullness of connection and unity throughout consciousness, or the essence of self, a greater sense of wholeness within the soul and the embodiment of the soul and the expanded awareness of the soul as its essence is encountering its own existence within the human form. Okay? So when you look at the changing of the seasons, the body-mind is navigating life in a particular way. And if the body-mind is experiencing the shift from summer to autumn, it's important for data from every year of life to be fully connected with expanded and improved content and connectivity so that the navigation isn't affected by past experiences in a negative way, but is empowered through them, which means that no matter what happened, if there was something not so good that happened during the changing of the seasons, it means that that experience doesn't affect your ability to navigate the changing of the seasons now. Okay, and that's like a whole other topic almost. But when the changing of the seasons, the body-mind is navigating its own existence and understanding the experience of the changing of the seasons now because of the data from every year of life that has information about having encountered it before. Okay. A few years ago, I could not remember my entire life. Data from every year of life, none of it was accessible and none of it was connected. And in that journey, there would be these encounters with components of reality where there was no orientation to understand the experience of it now in relation with experiencing it in the past. And there was no sense of unity and connection throughout the parts of the self. And there was no ability to navigate that present moment in relation with data accumulated before without that data having a not so good impact on that interpretation of navigation now. And so, for example, one time I saw lightning and I had no memory of ever seeing lightning before. So it was interesting to navigate that experience as a grown being when the childhood self knew what lightning was, the adulthood self in early adulthood knew what lightning was, the self in middle adulthood knew what lightning was, and then amnesia, and then I'm seeing lightning and I'm like, oh my God, there's like light flashing in the sky. I have no concept of how to navigate this because there's no data in my body-mind to support this. Okay? So when you're in a sensation of the changing of the seasons, in every moment there's this stimulus coming in from the environment, and you're feeling the cold being a little chillier. You're feeling the sun being at kind of a different angle. You're feeling all these things. You're noticing the plants shift in their, presentation of their expressed miracles, and you're noticing it getting, dark earlier, or whatever it might be. And you're not like, oh my God, like I'm studying this. It's just a subtle thing that's happening just naturally as you move through everyday moments. But the body-mind is constantly navigating it based on the projection of this information that exists beyond awareness. Okay, and so when we look at these concepts of, is data from every year of life fully connected? Are all the roles of the neurobiological social engagement system fully connected? Are they able to navigate all these different subconscious priorities where they support each other and not like, oh, I'm just navigating these and I don't know how to navigate those, or I'm navigating these in totally different ways and now there's all this disruptions. Okay, is the explicit and implicit data connected? Okay, can you have this awareness of navigation without having this disruption of implicit well-being? Can you have this understanding of what's happening implicitly while understanding the explicit connotations? Can you navigate this brand new moment and experience the sensations in relation with past sensations, but without any of the experiences disrupting a brand new experience? Okay, and then data in self-associations. Is the body-mind associating with its own existence independently of experience where it met the body minds of others before it met itself? Can the body mind associate with itself independently of how experience taught it to associate with itself before it had a say in it? Are the self-associations supporting the self associating with its actual essence, or is the essence of self unable to fully associate with itself because there's so many projections from the body mind that are dictated by past experiences? And can the body mind navigate all associations of experiential elements in a perfected way, where there's this full awareness of all this navigational data, but there's a brand new moment that's not being affected by those past experiences? It's just being positively supported by them. And so you look at this and the complexities are mind-blowing, because again, this is flowing through trillions of networks that have been affected by every nanosecond of experience since infancy. The body mind remembers the texture of that blanket from 6 months old, etc. Okay? So when we navigate these everyday moments, the body mind is like, hey, I'm here to support that. That's like my primary job. I'm here to navigate regulate existence. And then there's the essence of consciousness. These two butterflies dancing and twirling with each other. Then there's the essence of consciousness, who is like, hey, I'm here to experience my own self from a state of expanded awareness so that I have authority in these brain-body structures and the navigational patterns of my body-mind, rather than overly identifying with them and my existence being solely dictated by them. And so it's just really quite a miraculous journey. So then the question is the content and connectivity throughout trillions of networks effectively navigating existence? When my body mind is navigating something like the changing of the seasons, are all parts of me who have ever experienced this before connected throughout all these parts of me and oriented in this brand new moment, able to understand its navigation without it being influenced by the past? And this is like a really interesting segue of understanding, because you want the body mind to navigate the present moment effectively, but to be able to experience it as a brand new present moment. If it's experiencing projections of the past, then you'll think you're here in a new moment, but you're actually just experiencing how the body mind experienced the changing of the seasons in all these other years, and not here in a brand new moment. But simultaneously, if there's not some navigation being provided, then you won't be able to navigate it. So it's just, these are the effects of integration. These are the effects of being able to have this improved and expanded content and connectivity in the body-mind with greater unification throughout parts of self, okay? You want to be able to understand the navigation of this, but to have a brand new experience of it that's not a projection of what's already been experienced, but to have an understanding of what's happening in relation with that, but with conclusion of that and introduction to this. And you want to have, even more importantly than just the body-mind navigation and experience, you want to be able to have connection throughout all these parts of the self. You want the self who experienced this during childhood to have full orientation with the self experiencing it now. You want the self who experienced it in teenagehood to have full orientation with the self experiencing it now, etc. But this isn't just an explicit, oh yeah, I remember this from childhood and I'm here now, so obviously the parts of the self are connected. It's not like that, because most memories are unconscious. So there isn't actually a conscious way to just look inside of your body mind and understand if these parts of the self are fully connected. You might think they totally are, and they're totally not. Because it's happening so deep beyond awareness. You can't go inside your trillions of networks and look around in there and be like, okay, yes, there was that moment and that moment and that moment, and all of the unconscious memories are fully connected and all the parts of the consciousness are fully present here. You can't go inside and just have that awareness. just by wanting to have that awareness. And so that is a big, beautiful part of what my work dives into. And so I'm very passionate about this because it's such a profound hidden inner reality that's affecting everyone beyond awareness all of the time. And my journey with it has been especially profound because, like I mentioned, a few years ago, I couldn't remember any of my life. And before that, there was over 4 years of severe amnesia that had been really minor throughout my whole life and then was really pronounced. 4 years, couldn't make any new memories at all. And then when I started to be able to create new conscious explicit memories, there was no sense of self. There was no memory of my whole life. But now it's all reorganized. All the content and all the connectivity is improved and expanded, and all the parts of the self are starting to experience this reunification. And it's changing my experience of everyday moments, like smelling a flower, or tasting a cup of tea, or experiencing the changing of the seasons. Because the body-mind is navigating life differently, and there's more of the self to experience that than ever before. And so one of the ways that I explore this, there's multiple avenues. All of my different services and creations offer kind of a different angle into these exact topics of body-mind navigation, regulation, understanding, evolving, transforming, resculpting, expanding, trillions of energetic pathways in the body-mind, the content, connectivity, and trillions of networks navigating, regulating existence beyond awareness, exploring that, understanding it, transforming, resculpting it, and in that process, distinguishing the essence and identity of self as consciousness from that brain-body wiring, from those experiences, and then activating, awakening, reunifying, liberating, expanding, reconnecting deeper with these parts of the self, and allowing the experience of existence to be more juicy in that process, and allowing for all of this to be fun and playful and enjoyable, and just fascinating and awe-striking and eye-opening and blissful and rewarding every step of the way. But one of my methods, and one of my personal favorites, is through marathons. Through the subconscious unveiling marathon journey, we can actually understand and explore and uncover and unveil and assess the content and connectivity throughout trillions of networks. And so you know how I was like, you can't just go inside your body mind and know if data from every year of life is all connected, to know if those parts of the childhood self, if those parts of the teenage self, if those parts of you from all these other periods of life are actually fully unified within the self experiencing now. You can't go in there and know if this unconscious memories carrying these navigational patterns is all connected. You can't know about that on a surface level of awareness. The marathon journey, the unveiling marathon technique that I've sculpted from scratch, I've created from the ground up. It has formulated and developed from nothingness into the most glorious, precise, profound, astounding, like the precision is mind-blowing technique that I never could have dreamed of it becoming so meticulously precise. And we can now go in there and explore very specifically the content and connectivity throughout trillions of networks and the way it's navigating existence far beyond awareness, including in relation with those 5 elements: the data from every year of life, explicit, implicit, roles of the neurobiological social engagement system, self-associations, and abstract associations of experiential elements. Okay? And there's also actually a way to explore it through my original diagrams, the expanded spirit 3 subconscious layers diagram and the liberated consciousness diagram. And you can find out more about that in my other work as well, including my treasure trove picture book and lots of different offerings. They're amazing, mind-blowing, and astounding at their level of precision. And I say this from a very objective space because I have little to no memory of first creating them. And the more that I come back to them and reuse them and reassociate with what's actually happening within them and what they mean and all their uses and applications, the more and more mind-blown I am at their precision. You can find out more about the journey that led to creating them in my Forging a Legend video. I share the whole journey of it in a very fun way. Okay. And so through the subconscious unveiling marathon journey, we can actually explore this. We can explore the organization of trillions of networks throughout 4 subconscious regions and 3 subconscious layers. We can explore the organization of content and connectivity and data from every year of life and how it's all connected, and if that content is navigating life, and if there's unification throughout all these parts of the self. And the process of that does not require us to look at any past experiences or the details of present body-mind data at all. We're just using this original technique to explore the way that the body-mind is projecting navigation while looking in a mirror. And from this technique, we can understand all of this. We can unveil all of this. And it is incredible, and it's fun, and it's deep, and it's soulful, and you get to really meet parts of yourself in a way that you've never done before, and you get to come eye to eye and face to face in just this intimate presence with the essence of your true self, and you get to peek into these hidden inner realities of the body-mind and explore and understand how they're navigating life beyond awareness. And all these things that were completely impossible before. How can you possibly know if unconscious memories from toddlerhood are navigating life effectively now? How could you possibly know if you're fully integrated from those painful relationships? It's not that you got over them, okay? That's a surface conscious level thing. How do you know that the unconscious memories about how the body mind felt and moved during those past relational encounters is fully able to navigate life now moving forward? How do you know that your present interactions with people are being effectively navigated because all the data from every interaction with those people and other people are fully navigating life now? How do you know that data from every year of life is actually allowing you to associate with the experience of the changing of the seasons? How do you know that when you go to smell a flower, you're smelling the flower as it actually smells in the present moment, and you're not actually experiencing this projection of unconscious memories from the way that flower smelled 15 years ago that had all these stories and associations with unprocessed memories? How do you know that this content and connectivity and trillions of networks is actually supporting the fullness of the essence of your true existence as divine consciousness? How do you know that trillions of parts of yourself are actually connected with the self? How do you know if parts of yourself are able to identify with their essence independent of what experience has taught them about who they're supposed to be? How do you know that the body-mind is supporting the way that you associate with yourself without identifying with the way that the body-mind was taught to associate with its own existence based on how it observed other body-minds associating with their existence? How can you possibly know if you are tasting food in a present moment that's fully able to be navigated through body-mind structures with full unity between parts of the self? How do you know that when you breathe, every part of you is there to experience the power of your own breath? How do you know if the organization and composition of your own existence is supporting the navigation of your truest self? How do you know that all of you is here to experience your own being? How do you know that every moment is being translated through a lens of love because your body-mind is supported by an energy of attachment well-being? How do you know that unconscious memories from every day, from every week, from every month, from every year of your entire life up until now is fully connected with an upgrade in its content to effectively navigate your now and every now for the rest of your life? How do you know? And how could knowing change your life? How could knowing about these hidden inner realities totally shift your experience? How could unveiling the truth of these hidden inner realities open doors to transform anything that's maybe not allowing you to do all those things I just described, so that your body, mind, and your consciousness can do that to the fullness for the rest of your life. How profound could such an experience be? And this is the essence of mere play with mirror power. Warning, the navigational regulational structures of your body, mind, and the activated essence of your expanded consciousness will never be the same, but it will be more wondrous than ever before imagined!